something we trialled with a healthcare support worker programme, which launched this year, our very first online programme, which Rob, my colleague, is here that helped design and develop. So we're absolutely thrilled to have a further commission from Amber and the team for you. And the interest has been really overwhelming. So we're thrilled to be with you today. So I'm going to give a bit of a background and give you an overview of the Florence Nightingale Foundation. We've got a bit of a fun quiz. Amber, I just want to check, will you share the slides for me, or how? Yeah, you're happy to do that. Good, just checking, because you're very efficient and got the slides done for us. So I've got a few things to run through with you. We'll talk through the programme as well, so I'll lean to my my lovely colleague Rob as well to support with that. Great, Rob. And we'll get started. So Rob, are you happy just to quickly say hello as well? Is that okay? Oh, just to introduce yourself, if that's okay.
Yeah. Sorry, just struggling to turn my mic on for some reason.
No problem.
Hi, everybody. My name's Rob Cutforth. You've probably all got emails from me up until now. I'm the Senior Learning Technologist for the Florence Nightingale Foundation. So, as Lucy says, I am responsible for taking the great work that comes to us from our subject matter experts and turning it into a program that can be offered online. So I manage the LMS, and if you have any other issues and stuff, we can help you. Technical issues, we can help you.
Lovely. Thanks so much, Rob. Just that was important. So we've got contact details if you have any problems at all. You can contact us at the Florence Nightingale Foundation to help and support you. So I'm going to go to the next slide, if that's okay, Amber. Just wonder if you could mute everybody for me, just in case there's background noise, that's all, because I wouldn't want to spoil the experience. So as Amber said, we're going to be recording today because we completely appreciate, we've got competing deadlines and competing workloads. So those of you with us on the catch up, hope you've got all the information you need, and we're here to help you at the FNF as well. So welcome from me. I'm going to give a bit of an overview of the programme through the slides. I'll hand across to Esther, who's with us. So I'm sure Esther will say hello in a moment. Then Rob's going to just go through and give you a bit of a tour of the platform so you can see how to log in and what to do. And then finally, we'll hand back to Amber, who will summarise and close for us today. So we were happy to go to the next slide, if that's okay. Amber. There we are. This is my section, Fundamentals. So welcome. So welcome to FNF. Welcome to a programme. If you've not done any programmes with us before, we like to keep you. So we like to use the hashtag FNF Forever. So once you do one of our programmes, we'll share further opportunities with you you might be interested in. We're here to help and support you. And many of our scholars and delegates stay with us beyond their careers. So we like to support you right through your professional careers and beyond. So I'm going to go to the next slide, if that's okay. Thank you so much. So the online sessions were just as we said, it's at the IPC Fundamentals. So really, it's a benchmark. I'm a proud Dipsy by background, and I've got my postgrad in IPC, so I feel like I'm with my tribe today. It's just that it's really to make sure everyone's got a benchmark in infection prevention and control, making sure you're up to date on the standards. Sure, many of you may know that a lot of the information already. It's a great revision, but also a good learning as well, and something to refer back to. So it's been designed by some incredible IPC leads and experts within Esther's team and Sue's team as well, which many of you will know. And it starts with a history of infection prevention, which I find really fascinating, particularly around the vaccinations and how we wonderful things like that. Then we look at standard precautions, which again will be revision for much of you, but really important we get that right. Then it's about cleaning blood and body fluids, and then sepsis and antimicrobial resistance, which is really, really topical. Obviously, it's one of the biggest health issues that's going to be confronting us over the years to come. Obviously, you're fully aware of that already, but obviously you'll learn a lot more detail and actually how you can fly the flag for that and actually raise awareness across your teams. Really, really important you take that back to your units and organisations as well. Then there'll be a summary and conclusion. There's approximately around 6 hours of learning, 6 to 8 hours, dependent on how long you learn. You can do it in your own time. You can grab a quick 10 minutes on a coffee break to watch a quick video. You do this at your own pace whenever you can fit it in, but obviously it will close on the 31st of December. So you've got a few weeks to complete. As always, we'd love to have your feedback. This is the first time we've run the module on a standalone, so we'd love to hear your first cohort, how you found it, how we can improve it, and how we can make it even better for future cohorts as well. So I'm just going to go to my next slide, if that's okay. Thank you. So any of you that may know me, I do start all of my presentations with a Florence Nightingale quote. And if you're not familiar with the FNF, we were set up back in 1929 following the death of the amazing Florence Nightingale. And basically she left a large sum of money. She was quite an affluent lady, for us to continue her great work. So everything we do is a legacy to Florence Nightingale. As you know, she was a pioneer. She was a blazer of trails. You know, she lobbied government. She really raised standards. She did amazing things for our profession, nursing and midwives and beyond. And also for us as well, she was a huge advocate for infection prevention and control, as all of you will know. So I'm going to go to my next slide, if that's okay. So a bit of fun for you really to get to know Florence a bit more and maybe share our passion at the FNF for all things Florence. But obviously there's lots of other fantastic nurses across the world as well. So just going to go across. So I was hoping, if you feel comfortable, pop your answer in the chat. If not, if you or raise your hand, the virtual hand, the reactions at the top of the screen. If you know the answer, we're starting with a really easy one now. I'm hoping. Oh, Sebastian's hot off there. Sebastian, when's her date of birth? Still on mute if you're able to take yourself off.
I'm very sorry. 1820.
1820, wonderful. Do you know which date?
No, that wasn't on your slide.
What was her date of birth? So what was her date of birth? Anyone tell me? But well done, Sebastian. Half a point there. Unfortunately, I haven't got any prizes for you other than congratulations. Oh, well done, Diana in the chat. Oh, love this. Wonderful. They're all buzzing in now. 12th of May. And for an extra bonus point, what's the relevance of the 12th of May? Oh, same as yours. Oh, wonderful. Someone's birthday. Kirsty, happy birthday for the 12th of May. Absolutely right. Sebastian, a combined effort. Absolutely right. It's, oh, sorry, next slide. That's okay. I've gone back. 12th of May, 1820. Oh, I love the fact you got, so you can Google as well in the background as well if you know the answers. Perhaps I shouldn't have told you that. So 1820. And anyone tell me what the relevance of that day is? I know there's nurses in the audience. Anyone hazard a guess? Rob, you're not allowed to answer. Anyone know? 12th of May. I'll give you a clue. It's a bit of a celebration for us. Oh, well done, all coming through. Nurses Day, absolutely. It's International Nurses Day, all coming in thick and fast. I think it's a bit of a delay, actually. So yeah, absolutely. It's Nurses International Day, where we all come together to absolutely celebrate our incredible profession, nurses and midwives. And what's really great is we have a ceremony at Westminster Abbey, which we're hoping to have live links to, where 2,500 nurses and midwives come together to celebrate our amazing profession. And if you get the opportunity to attend, I would say grab it with both hands. It's an incredible ceremony. Anyway, next question, please, Amber, if that's okay. Where was she born? There was some smiles in the audience. I think people might know. I'll give you a few minutes. I think there's a delay in the typing. You can get quick with your Googling if you don't know. Oh, London, no, good guess, but no. Oh, well done. Diana's correct. And so the names are popping in now. Italy, well done. Yeah, it was Florence. Florence in Italy. So long before the Beckhams were calling their children after the places that they were born, you know, the Nightingales were there, and she was actually called Florence. Her sister was born in Naples, interestingly enough, bit of a fascinating fact for you. So Naples Nightingale was her sister. What's really great, she said, being born in a different country actually helped her to really think about health as a global issue and supporting. So, you know, much of her work was kind of paved in that. She obviously helped at the Crimea and wanted to make sure health was accessible to all. So how fantastic is that? Next question, if that's good. Next slide, if that's okay. And there's beautiful Florence in Tuscany. So next slide, if that's okay. Next question. What was the institution she founded? Does anybody know? Oh, Sebastian's quick off the mark there.
Was it St Thomas's?
Good answer.
No,
Close,
no,
but not quite.
No,
oh,
it's the next one.
Go back. Oh, nursing school. Samantha's got it. Samantha Reeves, thank you. Good guess though, Sebastian, and it is based at St Thomas's. So there you go. You're not too wrong. So next slide, if that's okay. I trained there actually. It's the first ever school of nursing and midwifery that was set up, based at St Thomas's. So half a point for you, Sebastian, again. Being a student nurse, I'm going back quite a few years. We used to look through the windows on the Lane Fox unit, and that was the old wards that actually Florence worked on. It's incredible if you ever get the chance to go. And just in front of St Thomas's, if you haven't been, and if you do have a visit to London, if you don't live or work there, there's the COVID Memorial Wall, which is a really wonderful place to go and visit. But the one thing I really love about Florence is, well, many things I love about Florence, but one I really do like is she set the school up back then on South Bank when it wasn't such an affluent area as it is now. And what she wanted to do was to give people a chance to have an education, to make sure she could share her expertise and experience to bring forward that next generation of nurses and midwives. And I just think that just stands true. She wants to give people from a deprived and lower socioeconomic background a start in life and an education, which I think really does feed through what she stood for as an individual and a nurse leader, and someone I'm really proud to kind of work with her legacy on. Anyway, right, we'll go on from there. So next slide, please, if that's okay. I need to take my badge out and share that with you. I've got that on the slide. So next, if that's okay, Amber, thank you. So you researchers amongst you, what did she invent? I think someone just muted me. Sorry if you didn't hear that question. I'll just come back again. What did she invent to show her health data? Oh, we've got a hand up. Nicola.
Hello. Is it the polar area diagram?
Well, close. It is a diagram. It is a diagram.
Oh, the Nightingale Rose diagram.
Good. Right thought. Right thought. To be fair, it is quite bespoke. It was used for infection prevention data, actually, interestingly enough. So I'll go to the next slide because it is a bit of a tricky. It's the coxcomb, if any of you know the coxcomb, which is one of the very earliest kind of pie charts, essentially. Very first kind of infographic, as we'd call it now. So what was really interesting, I don't know if you could click again. Sorry, there's another image, if that's okay. Thank you so much. So this was her first time that she demonstrated data, that first evidence-based practice where she looked at the link between what she noticed were the soldiers that she was treating were actually dying from preventable contagious diseases. You know, that interest in IPC even back then, rather than the battle wounds, from the shrapnel, which is really interesting. And she demonstrated that data in the first infographic, or coxcomb as it's known, to demonstrate that data, which is really, really interesting. And as a result, was actually invited to join the Royal College of Statisticians, the first female to be done so, to be invited to go and join, and just shows her evidence-based practice there as well. So next slide, if that's okay. Great stuff. So we're going to go into groups now, if that's okay, for 5-10 minutes. So I don't know how many people are on the call. I'll kind of go to Amber to put you into groups, if that's possible. Is that possible, Amber, or not?
Yeah, it is. Just give me a minute. How many rooms do you want?
Well, I'm just seeing how many delegates we've got. I haven't got that access to that information, but probably if we put 5 in groups of 5, if that's possible. So I'm seeing 46. So probably if we could put, and obviously not put me in a room, but the others. And what I want you to do is think about your hopes and goals for the leadership program. What do you actually want to get from this? And we want to obviously make sure that we're supporting you to achieve that through the program, and obviously think about what you want to get from it longer term as well. So I'm going to ask Amber to very kindly pop you into groups and get to know each other. We want to make sure, obviously, it's not just a standalone module. We want you to support each other and maybe share facts and share best practice, because we want to build a community of incredible IPC nurses, midwives and AHPs and beyond. So it'd be nice for you to kind of connect and get to know each other as well. So I'll give Amber a minute, because I know these things take a little time, don't they, to pop in. But just think about what you want to get from it. I would really urge you, it's not compulsory. I'd really urge you to kind of connect with one another as well. And also, yes, that's right, Audrey, well done for clarifying. Is actually if you could perhaps just come back with one goal from each group, and we can feed back and kind of populate that, and we'll pop that on the forum as well in your module. Oh, if you just come out. Welcome back, everybody. It would be absolutely wonderful if you could pop your cameras on so we could see you all. So it's a bit more interactive. That would be really great. And it'd be wonderful to hear from who's feeling bold. Oh, lovely. I love it when it populates. You can see everyone's faces. That's great. I feel like I'm with people then. Hello, everybody. How nice to see you all. Absolutely wonderful. We should have popped in the chat where you were dialing from today, actually. It'd be really great to see where you're all from. If you're able to do that, that would be wonderful. So who is feeling bold and who wants to go first to kind of share what their hopes and goals was discussed in their group? If you pop your hand up and take yourself off mute, that would be amazing. Lots of smiles on my screen, so I'm hoping I don't have to choose anybody. What should we go for? And I've been corrected by my wonderful colleague that actually the coxcomb is also called the polar diagram. So I've learned something new today as well. Oh, Elise, lovely. Thank you. Over to you. So are you happy to share? We can't quite see you on the screen. If you can pull your camera down a wee bit, we can see your your face. Brilliant. Hello, welcome. So you might need to take yourself off mute as well. And then it'd be great to hear what you discussed in your group.
Yes, thank you. I was talking to myself then. Yeah, for me, it's more about challenging people when you see them doing bad IPC practice. When I first qualified, I was asked to do an IPC role, and I just had to do these little audits where I stood there with a clipboard and, oh, they've just been to that patient, and now what have they done? Are they going to alk gel? Are they going to wash their hands? Or nothing? No, nothing. Okay. And few people got upset that I ordered them with not doing hand hygiene. So how do you encourage people to practice
do the right thing?
And
well,
yeah.
Really, really good point, and really good point. And actually, that's the first and foremost, first part of this program is really to equip you with that evidence base to go back and challenge. So you know you've got that confidence in your own knowledge and clinical standards and practice to challenge. And we do have, as I said at the beginning, we do have lots of other programs you can get involved in to really empower you and really demonstrate. Because all of you are leaders. I should have perhaps said that earlier, but all of you are leaders. The moment we step out into the clinical environment, we're advocating, we're role modelling, we're all leaders, aren't we, for our patients and customers, clients, wherever we work, across which area. That's great. Thank you so much, and thanks for going first. Never easy, is it, to go first? I think we've got, is it Domena? I can just see your surname actually because there's so many on the screen. Is it Dominica? It's lovely to
Dom, yeah.
Dom, lovely
Yeah.
to welcome you, Dom. So what are you hoping to get from the program?
So basically, in our room, we were having some sort of similar language. I think the challenge is really how do we get everybody to follow the rules somehow?
Yeah.
So when we go around the wards, there's something that I've noticed quite a lot. We seems to have doctors very busy, not following the right protocol on hand hygiene. So it's really how do we go back and kind of educate and send a message through.
I think you've got that right, Dom. It's exactly, first and foremost, is educating them and giving them that evidence base to challenge so they can make the right decision. And it doesn't have to be that you don't have to berate somebody for doing it. Well, you can give them a nudge and say, oh, did you realise we're doing it like this? So it's actually about equipping yourself with that knowledge to then go back and feel confident to challenge, as you say. So that's fantastic, Dom. And once you build on these skills, there's a lot more programs we do at the FNF to empower you to then go back and challenge even more. And something we've done a lot of work with the healthcare support worker community as well. So Dom, thank you so much. Okay, I think we've got Abigail next.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I think mine's just more about gaining like more knowledge and understanding and stuff and how it works, because I've not been involved in IPC for that long. So I think it'll be good for me really to do the course, and I was recommended by my manager to do it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. And actually what could be great as well is sharing that knowledge with your teams as well. So you create that wonderful ripple effect so that your whole team is singing from the same song sheet as well. So you're really changing practice.
And then just putting things into practice and stuff when like you're at work and on shift.
Definitely. So you're role modelling, you're doing the right thing. Absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you. Anyone else happy to feedback? And then I'll move across to our next speaker. Diana, thank you. Oh, lovely to see you in uniform.
Hi,
welcome.
I work for South East Coast Ambulance Service as the IPC practitioner, and I just want to try and help to get the message out that obviously IPC exists not only within the hospital setting or in the community, but also within the ambulance service. And as much as most of the policies are all based around hospital settings, that there are other settings as well, and just hoping that we can sort of create some sort of harmony between all the settings, and that policies need to work across everybody, so that what we're doing within the ambulance service before we arrive at an A&E department, for example, is then continued within the hospital setting or vice versa.
Agree, absolutely agree. And that consistency is absolutely paramount, isn't it? Making sure we're all doing the same thing, and actually then we can keep our patients safe. So thank you so much, Diana. Thank you so much for joining us. But I think I'm a little bit over time, so I'm just mindful of that we've got Esther that's going to be presenting next. So I'm going to hand across to Esther. But But I guess really wonderful feedback from all of you. Thank you so much for meeting us. I'm just going to go back to our screen just to show we've got contact details. So Rob's going to give you a tour of the wonderful learning management system shortly, how you log in. But if you've got any queries, please do reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. And once you finish the programme at the end of the year, you'll be part of our F&F community. So you'll receive feedback from us, any other further opportunities for leadership development. So please do keep in contact with us. We want you to be very much part of the F&F family. So wishing you all the very best for the programme. And I'm hoping Audrey will be able to share the slide with our contact details. You can jot them down. And we're happy to answer any questions at all to help and support you.
Thank you.
Audrey, could you put the slide deck back up, please, if that's okay?
Thank you, and thanks all. I'm here if you've got any questions as well. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you, Lucy. So I'm Esther Taborn. I work with Sue Millwood on the education work stream within NHS England. So I'm an infection prevention and control nurse by training and background, and I do many things within the national team as well as work on the education programme. So some of you I may have seen before in some of my other roles. And I've been asked just to talk a little bit about the National Infection Prevention and Control Team and where the commissioning of this course sort of sits within our sort of general direction, for want of a better word. It should only take about 5-10 minutes at that, really. So I can just have the next slide, Audrey. So we're a national infection prevention and control team, and prior to the pandemic, we didn't have one. If I can be completely honest. So prior to the pandemic, there were people who worked in the national IPC team, but focused on specific projects to do with specific types of infections and bugs and specific directives that were given. Whereas what we have now is a national infection prevention and control team, as you would expect, to encompass the wide variety of infection prevention and control work that needs to be done nationally. And it was really the pandemic that shone a light on the fact that that was needed if we're going to achieve some of the things that we need to achieve, thinking about antimicrobial resistance and some of the stuff that's in the long-term plan. And if you haven't looked at either of those documents, I really would recommend that you have a look at them. Sometimes they can be a bit of a weighty tomes, but certainly the summary at the start of some of those documents can actually be quite useful to placing infection prevention and control in its broader context. So if I can just have the next slide, Audrey. So what we actually do in terms of the nuts and bolts of what we do is we provide evidence-based guidelines. So for that, we've got the National Infection Prevention and Control Manual. We commission education and training, hence why we're here today. We monitor numbers in terms of healthcare associated infection. A little bit in terms of monitoring of practice, although that tends to happen more at a regional and local level. And we get involved in all sorts of things around the built environment. So when buildings are refurbed, when new hospitals are considered, those sorts of things, they're built in line with a variety of different documents. And if people nationally are looking for some infection prevention and control input for some of that work, they will come to us. And they really form the basic components of what we do. So we'll just have the next slide, Audrey. So I keep talking about this national action plan. And so this is a slide really taken directly from it. So this is what nationally the NHS has committed to do by 2024. And this is to do with board level leadership, making sure infection prevention and control is there forefront of anything a board's thinking about and anything a trust's thinking about when it's designing how we work. And as I say, it's quite good to be minded and to be informed about this, because particularly in today's climate, where people are looking at what resources we have, what teams we need, who we need, and people are building business cases, often it's quite good to sort of cite and go from these deliverables, because they are something that the NHS has committed to deliver. So I just have the next slide. So what else do we do? I mentioned the long-term plan. So a long-term plan, for those of you who don't know, is if you like the NHS's roadmap or blueprint for how it will deliver care for our population going forward over the next 5 to 10 years. And in it is a strong move, some of you will know, in terms of prevention, keeping people out of acute care, providing care where people most want it provided. And you can see from there a strong role for infection prevention and control, and different challenges when we think of the challenges of the virtual ward, etc. So if I can have the next slide. So our programme has got the 4 work streams. So as I said, I'm here really in terms of my role within education, but I do some work across the other work streams as well. We're also looking at commissioning things to support the workforce and leadership. So there's a current review going on that some of you may or may not be aware of in terms of what an IPC team should look like, what career progression, I can see a few nods, what career progression through that IPC team should look like, what support people would need to enable them to work through that. So that actually going forward, as we come out of the pandemic, we can be absolutely clear with regions, with systems, with providers, with trusts and organisations, what the IPC workforce should need and what their leadership needs are. And of course, reaching out to partners like F&F, where actually, you know, leadership is leadership is leadership. We're all leaders. We're all role models, as I've said, and as Lucy said, and actually, you know, what can we learn from experts within leadership rather than thinking that we need to do this ourselves. We also produce policy and guidance, as I've said, in terms of the national manual, and we monitor rates and numbers of infection, which is the sort of number crunching statistical side of thing, picking up on the work that Florence has done before us. So if I can just have the next slide. This is really busy, so these will come out to you. So I'm not going to go into this in great depth, but some of you might have heard, certainly in terms of what's happening around CCGs don't exist anymore. We have these wonderful organisations called integrated care boards, systems, and systems encompasses charity, social care, as well as health. And the idea is that they're responsible for the health of the population within their boundaries. And with this comes, again, great opportunities for infection prevention and control when we're talking about leadership and when we're talking about influencing people's life outcomes across the care pathway, and not just in an acute setting or in an ambulance setting or in a mental health setting, in terms of these patients accessing care from a variety of settings. So I just have the next slide. So this is our team vision, and again, you'll get these sent out. But really, and I sometimes visions can put people off, but I actually think they're quite helpful to sort of centre us on this is who we are and this is what we do. We're really committed as a team that by 2025 IPC will be embedded and integrated into health and social care agendas, so that we can really influence safer patient care and better outcomes for people, so that individual that's perhaps been in and out of hospital, that's got a leg ulcer that's infected, their chest condition might not necessarily have been managed appropriately, so they end up on antibiotics, then they end up with C. diff, then they end up not being able to be discharged back to where they originally came from. It's those kinds of direct actual patient outcomes that we really see a role for IPC. We see a role for prevention, and hence why we wanted, as Lucy said, to equip you with the evidence base. And so in order so that you are out there in practice with patients, with your clients and service users, however you refer to people who come in and out of your scope of practice, to actually enable some of those fundamentals of IPC to be part of their care, and that you're able to challenge and to interpret and to advocate best practice with your colleagues as well. So I think that was the end of my part. So I'm more than happy to take any questions. I'm more than happy to answer any questions after this if that's more helpful, but I'm handing over to Rob now to talk to you about using the Florence Nightingale platform.
Thanks, Esther. Yes, as I said, my name is Rob Cutforth. I'm the Senior Learning Technologist for F&F. Am I able to share my screen, Amber?
Yeah, you should be
Okay.
able to.
Okay, I'll do that just now then. I'm just going to give you a little tour of our learning management system and talk to you about how to log in and how to complete your program. Let me just share this. Okay, can everybody see that?
Showing.
Great. Yeah, I can't see anybody anymore, so you'll just have to. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you will have received a welcome email that will have given you some instructions on how to log in and how to find your program. The link that's inside that email will go directly to your program, the Fundamentals of IPC, which is this one down here. We do have a number of other ones that are that have been developed. When you're on this site and you see any other programs that you'd be interested in, you can go through the leadership programs. We've got a members section and a scholarship section. If you're interested in any of that stuff, you can definitely contact us and we can give you more information on those things. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to talk to you about your program, Fundamentals of IPC. You won't have to click this. You can just click the email that, the URL that was in your email, and that'll take you straight here. Now, I'm already logged in. When you first arrive to this page, you will find a button here that says log in to enroll. When you select that, you will get a pop-up and it will be asking you for a username and a password. Your username is your email address, the one that you are registered in with, you've registered with us, the one that you received your welcome email with, and your password will be sent to you in a separate email. If you've not received that second email, just email us at online@florencenightingalefoundation.org.uk and we can resend that. The one thing I will say about this point is if you've got a pop-up blocker on your browser, you won't see the login page. And it also, if you're using an NHS computer, we've had varying success. One of the biggest barriers to online learning, and this is the same as when I worked in the University of Manchester. The biggest barrier is the dreaded NHS firewall. So if you can at all use a non-NHS computer and non-NHS Wi-Fi, I think you'll find your experience will be a lot more, will be a lot smoother than if you try to use one of the NHS machines, because the firewall, especially in some trusts, it seems like some trusts are a lot more strict than others. I think Essex is particularly bad if you're from around there. So, but once you do log in, you'll get this page here that will show you all 5 lessons. You have to complete each lesson before you can move on to the next one. So it's probably easier if I just show this. Once you click into the first one, you'll see this is how it looks. At the top, you will have a little taskbar that shows you how far along you've gotten. And actually I've just had a look and it looks like about a third of you have already logged in, and actually a few have already finished. So well done. When you go through the program itself, there are a number of different videos here that are very good. For me, this is my favorite lesson in the history of infection prevention control. As a non-medical person, this was an eye-opener. You've got introductory videos, you've got your objectives. We also use external videos. Why reinvent the wheel when there's ones that have been created by external partners that are as good, if not better, than anything that we could provide. There's additional material, there's more videos. You've got some additional reading. These are all optional. It depends on how, if you're going to be like an infection prevention control champion, these would definitely help in that respect. Again, we've got some other videos here. This one's very highly video based. One of the biggest comments we get from users on our programs is that they much prefer videos to reading text. So we've made a concerted effort to include a lot more videos than text, but you will still have some text here. And then as you make your way through, you've got some little accordions, and there's going to be some interactive modules, or interactive bits as well. There's drag and drops, there's all sorts. But I think most people who have done any sort of online learning before, this won't surprise you. In fact, if you've done anything, I suppose GDPR is probably the big one that everybody has to do. This will look fairly similar. Oh, sorry for that image. I'm assuming we're all medics here. There's also presentations and multiple choice questions. And then when you get to, that's quite a fun video. I'll let you discover that one on your own. And then at the end, there's a quiz. And once you complete the quiz, you have to get 80% on each one to move to the next section. And then once that happens, you can move on to the next bit. And then when you get to the finish, there is a, let's just see how well this loads. My computer's terrible for loading when I'm sharing my screen, and it has, good. A little spoiler alert, but once you get to this page, there'll be an online program evaluation form. And once you complete that, you will be sent a certificate. We're very thankful for any comments that you can give us. We have been doing online learning at the Florence Nightingale Foundation for about a year or so. So we're very happy to get comments so that we can make future programs better. And then once you're at the end, if there's no quiz, you'll see a button like this that says mark complete the page. So for this last page, you select that, and then you'll be all finished. That, in a nutshell, is how the course works. As I said, if you've got, let me just stop sharing for a sec. If you run into any trouble, technical trouble, or any problems at all, you can email us at online@florencenightingalefoundation.org.uk, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Is there anyone in this room who has tried it and is having any kind of technical problems?
So I was just thinking, in the interest of time, if you do have any issues, Rob and I can stay on behind to answer any questions. I'm just aware that I think we're due to finish in a couple of minutes, that's all.
Okay.
But please do reach out to us at the FNF. We're here to help and support you. We really hope you enjoy the programme, and please do look out for other opportunities as well. This is obviously just the start of your journey with us, so please do look out. We're here to help and support you, and it's a pleasure to work with you all, so enjoy. I think we'll hand back to Amber, who's going to summarise and close. Is that right?
Yeah, just very briefly, just to say thank you everyone for attending. Hope you enjoyed it, and also to say that I'll put my contact details in the chat in case you've got any questions. Just a bit of background, I am the senior project manager for 3 of the 4 work streams within the National Infection Prevention Control Team, so I'm a good point of contact if you have any problems or need any help. Okay. Thanks, everyone.